Hey Fred, how much has the week off helped the knee? Are you feeling a lot better, a lot differently than you were?
How did I know that was going to be the first question?
Just getting it over with.
Yeah, man. Having some time off, obviously. Again, like I said before, approaching the injury with different pathways. We ended up doing what we thought we could do, which was get in the top 6, get a little bit of rest, get some time off, get some time to work out, get back in shape, get my timing back. So I've had a pretty good week of work. I'm getting ready for this series, but again, it could go really good or really bad. So I'm optimistic about it. I feel good. Continue to do all my work in my rehab. It's not going anywhere, but definitely feeling a lot better than the last time you guys saw me.
You got a lot of young guys like Precious, Gary, Scotty, who've never been through anything like this. How can you sort of walk them through the preparation and what they might want to expect on Saturday?
Stick to the game plan. Stick to the game plan. Trust your details, trust your instincts, go out there, have fun. That's about it. It's can't really explain, what's about to happen on Saturday. Every player goes through it. I've been through it, and I've seen the best go through it. So I'm just keeping these guys fresh, loose, confident, and we'll go out there, lace them up, and see what happens.
With a guy like Precious, who I think early in the year, I think we all agree, tried to do a little bit too much, and now has settled into a very defined and very good role. How do you keep him on that even keel? Don't try to get ahead of yourself or outside of yourself.
You just try to, reinforce what everybody else is seeing, which is like stick to what works and sprinkle the rest in. You got to take what you can get as you go. There's some things that he has tremendous success with, and there's some other things that, are kind of flip of a coin. So I think, again, sticking to the game plan, trusting, what we put together and kind of what we do in teams in terms of, having chemistry in the team and the flow of the game. I think if you trust within that and put winning above all else, you'll find success. And, he's a young player, so there'll be ups and downs, as we know, but he's definitely had an impressive leap from, who we saw in training camp versus who, ended up finished the season. So he deserves a ton of credit for that.
You remember that first playoff for you?
Not really, no.
It wasn't a moment where it's quite a bit different then?
Yeah, not really, because, I wasn't playing much, obviously, early on, and then I got sprinkled in and then got caught up in the sweeps, and then, by the time I was a part of the team, I got hurt, so it was all kind of like a blur. Obviously, my first struggles probably came the championship year, so I definitely remember that. That's fresh in the mind, but yeah, it's just it's one of those things that's a part of the process, and there's more people in the room, there's more cameras. It's all a little bit more intense and more at stake, more on the line, but it's still basketball at the end of the day, and go out there, like I said, have faith in the work that you put in and see where everything happens.
What was the key to getting through that Philly series for you? Because that was the one you're talking about, right? Sure.
Kawhi making a shot and moving on to Milwaukee. No, I'm being honest. That ball bouncing up there 3-4 times and going in, and then there's a fresh series on the other side of it. So, again, we don't have to walk through the details of that, but sometimes matchups and flow and rhythm and coaching and rotations and minutes and schemes and certain things. So I think I just waited it out and was able to stick around long enough without, going off the deep end there, mentally. So I was able to maintain and keep my composure long enough to see it turn around. And sometimes that's all you got to do is just stick around long enough and it'll turn around.
Did you take something away from that experience, just in terms of either in terms of your playoff experience or just how you've evolved as a player in general?
Yeah, it was humbling, very humbling. You know what I'm saying? I had to get better. There were more conversations that I had to have with the coaching staff in terms of where I feel like I'm effective. And again, at that time, I was primarily running ball screens with the second unit, and there's no more ball screens all of a sudden. So now I'm a catch and shoot. I definitely got better as a catch and shoot player since then, extending my range, as we all know. But yeah, there's trials and tribulations. Everybody's career, every player has gone through it. I study the game. I watch basketball every night, and I see it. So when it's your turn to be in the fire, it's not fun, but just about everybody goes through it.
You mentioned sticking to the game plan as the advice for the younger guys, but is there a shift in the way you mentally prepare for a possibly 7-game series?
Yeah, I think you just got to be prepared for the range of emotions that comes with it, because in the regular season you're really just preparing for one game and then you're moving on to the next. So I think facing the same team, potentially 7 times, I think it gives you a little more big picture vision where you can kind of understand, that it can be a very long series. And I think once you understand that, it allows you to stay in the moment and not get carried away, because we've seen, 20-point blowouts one way and then the next night or the night after the other way. It's the roller coaster of the playoffs. So just having that experience, I think, helps. We'll try to stress that to the younger guys. But again, go out there and just let it fly, have fun, and play extremely hard. I think that we'll give ourselves a chance.
Fred, what do you think the most common mistake is from younger guys going into the playoffs, and how can you help them get through that stretch?
Most common mistake? I think there's 2 things that'll hit you right away. Is you'll be very surprised at the physicality and the officiating changes. I don't know how much I can speak on that without getting fined, but that is a adjustment for a lot of guys. And then 2, just the value of each possession goes up by 1,000. You know what I mean? So some of the silly plays you can make throughout the regular season will get you beat in the playoffs. And I think that's something that you learn really fast, is how quickly things can change, how fast momentum shifts, and the physicality and like foul, being able to get to the line or vice versa on the defensive end. I think that's a huge, drastic shift from the regular season. But you learn that pretty quick. So again, we got some guys that have never really had much experience, but after Saturday they will. So they got 48 more hours to say they don't, and then everybody will be playoff tested.
Fred, not trying to get you fined here, but preface it with that.
Thanks, Paul.
Preface it with that. When you look at the way Pascal's been playing in terms of getting into the lane and playing through contact, how much is that saying to the other guys, listen, this is what's coming down the road, so get used to it?
Yeah, you got to see it, right? I mean, he's our best player. He's our leading scorer, and he doesn't get a great whistle during the regular season, and I think it's great. I think it's a great position to be in, because you're seeing the attack on the rim and the physicality that it takes to continue to play through contact and finish. And I think that's something that I've watched Pascal get better and develop at, and something that's really helped his game this year. So I think it's a great message for the other guys to, if our best player's not getting any whistles, you better not be expecting them either. So I think it's a great mindset to be in. The toughest teams and the best teams are able to play through it, and you'll be surprised at how much it can change as the game goes on, when you stop complaining and arguing and crying every time there's a play. It's hard to do. We're human.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It feels very unfair sometimes, but when you're in that mode, when you're locked in and you're able to play through those type of things, it just gives you another chip and another level that you can reach as a team. And I'm looking forward to having that mindset. I'm actually happy that we're starting out on the road.
Fred, looking back on 2018, 19, 19, 20, and now this season, you guys have found a way to play your best basketball going into the playoffs. What is the key to doing that?
I got to give credit to Nick Nurse, you know what I mean, and our coaching staff for having a real game plan to the season, and having a scheme and a plan, you know what I mean. Whereas we'll take our development and our approach and our game plans in stages, and you can. I've been around long enough to see it, you know what I mean, and you could just see it as it picks up as the season goes on. It's more detailed, it's more strict, it's more focused. It's and there's you could see the path of the team, the maturity process, and I think this year it just worked because we were pretty new, all of us, to the team and playing together early on, and we started to gel as we got guys healthy, and here we are. So again, it'll be a challenge, as we know. Philly's a great team, but I like the group that we have, and I'm excited to go out there and face the challenge.
You missed these last 2 games against Philly, but what did you take away from that James Harden and Joel Embiid pairing?
Yeah, it's a tough cover. It's a tough cover. You got two MVPs MVP caliber players, both guys that can get you 30, 40 any given night, both lead the league and right up at the top of the league and drawing fouls, getting to the line, put tremendous pressure on your team, and then they've developed some of those guys around the edges. You know, George Niang has had a great year. Tyrese Maxey is one of the better young players in the league. They got a lot of those role players around the edges that contribute to what they do as a team. So, you know, a couple weeks ago, they were title favorites not that long ago. So I haven't forgotten that. I know how dangerous this team can be, and just looking forward to the challenge.
Fred, what have you observed this season and the way Scotty Barnes has evolved this year? Like, what's impressed you about his season?
What's impressed me? Just about everything. He's just a special kid, man. He's extremely talented. He's matured a bunch over the year, on and off the court, finding different, like a routine, developing a routine. You know, you can see him reading the game better. You can see him picking his spots better. I think early on he was trying to get it all at once and just trying to find his way. He really found a way to play off the other guys. He's one of those guys who you could probably give him the ball every play and get something good, but I think he's found a real talent in playing off of, you know, Pascal, or playing off of myself, or using us as bait and decoys to throw all those no-looks that he loves. So he's been good. His attention to details is continuing to get better. His defensive energy and pressure has been great. He's rebounded. He's made game-winning plays. I mean, he's done it all this year in a great role without, you know, having to have the ball every possession, but we still give him a lot of freedom to create and orchestrate for us. So he's been a tremendous piece for us, and I think, you know, he'll be big going forward.
A lot of young guys struggle in their first playoff series, but with Scotty, he has a bit of an old man game, especially the way he likes to play in the post. Do you think he's maybe better prepared than a lot of rookies to go in his first playoff?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think, again, like, at the end of the day, we're not really going to give him the ball and say, we need you to score 20, 25 tonight. So that's a great place to be. You know what I mean? I think he can impact the game in so many different ways. I think that's what makes players successful in the playoffs, is how many different ways can you impact the game and impact winning, and he does it in a lot of different ways. So he can score, he can pass, he can defend, he can rebound, he blocks shots. So he brings a lot to the table, and I'm confident that he'll help us in at least one of those ways, if not, you know, many of them.
And just to end it off, Fred, we do have 2 Zoom questions for you.
Is that a dog?
Go ahead, Michael.
Is that Grangy with the dog? Oh.
No, I got
No, that's Eric.
Oh.
I have a dog. Fred, thanks for taking this. You know, you're talking about the value of possessions in the playoffs, and you guys have worked really hard to win possessions, right? Between offensive rebounding and forcing turnovers. Seems to me those would be 2 things that a team would try and clean up in a postseason. So how are you guys going to be able to play your identity, presuming, you know, your opposition is going to try and stop that?
Yeah, I think, again, it's a battle, right? You know, they're going to try to limit those opportunities, and we're going to try to create those opportunities, whether that's, you know, creating deflections and steals and, you know, runouts on our defensive end, or whether that's just attacking the glass. I think there's areas to do that with the switches, with our matchups, you know, with some of the size and the length that we have. I think being in a better sync, being in sync and knowing when the shot's going up gives you a tremendous chance of offensive rebounding. So I think there'll be a flow to the game where we can send 2 or 3 guys to the glass and try to get some success. But at the end of the day, it's just, like you said, there's a value there. And if we value it enough, we'll go get it. And if it matters enough to us, we'll go get them. And, you know, I think that we'll see. I think this is the most we've crashed the glass and put an emphasis on that since I've been here. So we'll see how that works out for us in the playoffs. But I'm confident that, you know, we can get it done.
And do you need to play that identity to be successful, or do you guys have a plan B, do you think, to work?
Yeah, I mean, come on, it's Nicky Nurse, baby. No, but in all seriousness, I think that we've shown we can win 1,000 different ways this year. You know, there's a lot of different ways to do it, and we've explored just about all of them. we've had ugly wins, we've had good wins, we've had, you know, shootouts, we've had, you know, slugfest, as Coach said the other day. But I think that's the versatility and just being able to have different things that you can go to. But we got to be who we are. And at this time of year, you are who you are. You go out there and try to do that to your best of your ability and see where it gets you.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Thanks.
Go ahead, Aaron.
Hey, Fred. How have you seen Joel's game change or improve since 2019 playoffs?
Yeah, I think he was more a little bit back to the basket then, playing like a 5, and now he's like turned into Kevin Durant, Michael Jordan, Kobe, Shaq, all put together. So he's handling it a little bit more. He's playing on perimeter a little bit more. He's facing up. He's playing at the nail. He's playing at the elbows, so he can see the help come. The jumpers got better. The touches there. He's found different ways to get to the line. He's using his size on mismatches. He just continues to get better, and you know that's probably the most overlooked part of what we do in the league is like we forget that these all-world guys and these incredible talents can get better, and he's certainly got a ton better since 2019. So we got our work cut out for us for sure, but we'll put together a plan and we'll throw a bunch of bodies at him and see if we can't make it tough on him.
How much of defending him is getting either positioning or how much of defending him happens before he gets to his spots or before the ball is in his hand?
Most of it. You know, if there's about a 8-foot, 12-foot box down there that he catches in, you're probably going to be in trouble, especially with the size that we have down there. It'd probably take 2 or 3 of our little skinny guys to match up to him, but that's what it'll take. We'll have to do it with speed and athleticism and toughness, and we'll run different guys at him. We'll throw different coverage at him. I'm not going to give it to you right now. You'll see it on Saturday, but I think, fighting the catches and pressuring the ball and just, making it tough on him. That's pretty much all you can do with a guy like that is try to take him out of his rhythm and just make him work for it.
Thanks, Fred.
Thanks.
Thanks, Fred.